Are we about to see a huge black swan event in the world of crypto? Let's talk about it. All of you are welcome to the group. My name is Nick. Are you new to the channel? If so, I hope that by the end of this movie, you will have subscribed to join us on the path to widespread crypto adoption. MiCA, there are big changes happening in the EU with crypto adoption and crypto regulatory changes. In the end, it will be the first big thing that happens when it comes to legal clarity for crypto. But the question is whether it's good for the business or not. Well, this is a good summary of how MiCA will change stablecoins by the end of the month when Wrath of Condiments comes out. In an algorithmic ban, one-to-one liquid assets are backed up by insulated assets owned by a third party. This last point about Ripple stablecoin is interesting. A lot of people will say, oh, this is great for Ripple stablecoin, it's good for the NXRP, but what will it do in the short term? Because I do think MiCA is setting the standard for clear crypto regulations around the world. When MiCA comes out, I think all of these other countries will really put their foot down and try to make a regulatory bill that will bring rules to the whole world. It looks like this is going to set the pace, and I think that will open a huge door to greater understanding about crypto around the world. But what does this mean for Tether? That's the question everyone has. What does this mean for most of the market? At the same time, we have news about Tether from the Marty Party today. Tether has until June 30th to follow the rules set by the EU MiCA. It's an interesting matter. The EU regulator wants 60% of the backing to come from bank cash, but the CEO of Tether says this is not possible because banks could fail. And to be honest, he's right. As you can see here, this is only good for the people who are already in power. This kind of thing will only help lenders and big banks even more. I do have a problem with this, though. Some people have trouble with bank cash, especially when there is a 60/40 split like this. I could be wrong about this. You know, a lot of people say things like, oh, Tether is this, Tether is that. With what we know about banks now, I don't think that any stablecoin provider should have more than 60% of their money backed by bank cash. In April, he also wrote on X that we are still talking to the regulator about our worries about the EU's possible capital reserve rules. Putting down cash that isn't protected is also not a good idea, he said. Silicon Valley Bank and another bigger stablecoin went bad. We should learn from that. Cash that isn't protected goes bankrupt when a bank fails. Instead of risking losing all of their money if a bank fails, they keep a lot of it in uninsured cash deposits. This way, if the bank fails, the stocks will be returned to the rightful owner. An attestation released last month says that most of the roughly $110 billion in USDT that was in circulation at the end of the first quarter was backed by US treasuries. Because I want you all to do well this old season, I made a full list of tools you can use to see where the biggest whales are putting their money, which could help you make a lot of money in the end. I'm also giving away 30 free crypto gems that have been fully studied and are even categorized by level of risk, are free of charge. To get entry right away, all you have to do is use one of the links in the description below. Why are you guys still sitting around? Make sure you guys can get to this, especially since old season is coming up soon. While we look into this, there's also another news over here. This is what Tyler's CEO said about MiCA and stablecoins and the big whale 2 months ago. It looks like nothing has changed since then, and MiCA starts to work from June 30th. When it comes to Tether, the part of MiCA that bothers us the most is the very strict rules on how you can handle your reserves. From here, we can really see what that 60% cash payment at a bank means. That is something I think is very bad. It seems like a very big risk to me. As I already said, we need to look at this along with regulations happening around the world. This is because outside of MiCA, we are now seeing a lot of bills going through Congress in the US. I think what MiCA is doing is kind of the same problem that we are seeing in the US. What do I mean by that? I believe that a lot of this is done to help the bankers and the people who are already in power. And that's where this really bothers me. We have over here a US raid on crypto is about to happen. In the recent funding package from the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, lawmakers added language that would require the crypto business to label users in order to avoid fines. The bill would make it easier to punish foreign companies that help people buy and sell digital assets, including exchanges that are connected to people who support terrorists. The staff of Senator Mark Warren has been meeting with business leaders to see if the provision can be taken out of the final form of the National Defense Authorization Act. I hope it can, but the main thing that bothers me about this is that anti-crypto silliness is being sneaked into these bills. This has been going on for a while. It goes all the way back to 2023 when the tale of those who are against crypto really starts to heat up. This is still the place where the story of Operation Choke Point 2.2.0 lies on. I've already talked about that, which is why I want to talk about the Tether again. It doesn't matter if you back Tether or not, right? It seems crazy to me that banks should be helped in a 6040 split. I think it's crazy. Also, MiCA, I think you're great when this isn't going on. I believe it is good for the business. But I think it's a problem when regulatory sweeps happen that give lenders more power. Now, we have a quote from Aaron Arday over here from this post we have. So please pay attention. Crypto isn't getting ahead. I agree with those who say they are excited about the crypto bills in Congress but haven't read them. This is something I've talked about before. There are secret things behind a lot of the bills we see that say things like, oh, look, it's pro-crypto. They only give the banks and the executive arm more power. One of the biggest crypto super PAC's biggest wins was making sure that Adam Schiff is running for a Senate from California. They support things that hurt freedom. There is no way this super PAC can help you. It will hurt you 100 times more than it helps. There are, however, a lot of moves in Congress and around these crypto bills that are meant to help the banks even more and give them more power. I care a lot about this. And this is something we need to make sure we read all the way through when we look at these bills. And making sure we know everything about these bills, because if we don't, they might have hidden parts that give even more power to the people we're trying to stop, like the big banks and those who have been trying to shut down this industry through Operation Choke Point 2.2.0. Operation Choke Point 2.0 is still going on, as I said. In fact, a post from Kayleen Longwy in April proved that there is indeed a witch hunt going on in the US to shut down fintech and crypto companies. It has to do with politics. It's against the law wrong and might go against the FDIC's 2019 Operation Choke Point lawsuit deal. I agree that debanking should be a big issue in the November election. Also, let's talk about the Ripple stablecoin one more time, right? I think we will follow MiCA's lead, even here in the US. This is a big problem, though, because the big bankers want power and control. They will try to play this part anywhere in the world, including the US and the UK. This has the potential to get very out of hand. It gives them even more power and tools to fight crypto and block the biggest Bitcoin producers in the space. That is where I do see a big problem. This is in reaction to this post about someone who has banked at Wells Fargo for more than 26 years. Basically, they took his money away from him without telling him why. He also wrote a lot about crypto. He used Wells Fargo for crypto, and you can even see the breakdown of how he lost his bank account here. To say the least, it's kind of crazy, but when you look at this again, you can see that a lot of it is based on crypto. He even said, I haven't used my personal accounts for crypto purchases since 2018, and I just always do things the right way. And the problem I have with these things is that these banks are cracking down on crypto, which you can see even here in this talk. They are putting the clamps on tight. They want to be very quiet about it. I'm not going to shut up. We've been following this for a long time. So long as we've been writing about this, it's because, believe it or not, the big banks are against crypto.